Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your September 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic card spread as always, and I also pulled 4 agreements, wisdom, and oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. So let's see what we get. Alright, so we have Gemini, and Gemini is your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, of course, and it will be a Mercury retrograde in September, so of course there could definitely be some communication issues there. Alright, we have Pluto, and Pluto is actually in Capricorn, which is your 10th house of career and social status. It's been there for quite some time. And we have 4. So 4th house energy for you guys is Cancer, which is home, roots, and your mother. So could be some focus on that as well. All right, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have the Death card in reverse, Scorpio energy, and challenging that we have the 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy. So, I mean, the simplest way to look at these 2 cards could just be saying that there's something that you haven't left behind yet that probably does need to be left behind, and that's why the 6 of Swords would be showing up as the challenge there, right? So I feel like it could be something that you do need to leave behind, but for whatever reason there could be some resistance around that. For some of you, could be possibly the groups that you're dealing with in some way, maybe a friendship that you need to leave behind. For others of you, could be related to some kind of investments you've been making as well. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 9 of Swords, Gemini energy, and the 5 of Wands, Leo energy. So yeah, for some of you, there could be some anxiety around this, but at the same time, I feel like whatever the situation is you need to leave behind, it could be conflict-ridden, so it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you're not necessarily getting anything out of it, right, if the group can see eye to eye, then there's not much of a point in trying to continue down that path. But yeah, for whatever reason, there could be some difficulty on your part to actually leave it behind. Again, I feel like intellectually you figured it out, like, yeah, I do need to leave this behind, but there could just be some resistance to it. Maybe you feel like you would get some resistance if you did try to leave the situation behind as well, so that could be another way the energies are playing out there. All right. In the past position, we have Temperance. So this is actually the major arcana card for Sagittarius. So it could just be saying that in the past you were looking at things from a higher perspective, right, and maybe trying to actually restore the balance around the situation. For some of you, maybe this was even something that went back to Gemini season when we had the Sagittarius full moon. But yeah, it looks like in the past you guys were actually maintaining the balance within the situation. All right. In the present position, we have the High Priestess. So usually I view this as Pisces energy, and it could just be saying that you guys might just really be internalizing whatever the situation is right now and trying to intuitively figure out what the next best step should be. But yeah, it does look like you've gone a little bit quiet around whatever the situation is, and of course there will be a full moon in Pisces, which is your 12th house too, so that could help you get more intuitive insight around what your next best step should be too. All right, in the near future position, we have the Sun. So seeing this card coming up here does say to me that when you do leave this situation behind, whatever it may be, it looks like you guys actually will be a lot happier and feeling a lot lighter once you finally go through with it. So yeah, it could just be one of those things where the build up to the actual event is going to be more, treacherous than the event itself. So that could be kind of where you guys are at now, right? Where just taking the actual step to leave it behind, even though mentally, maybe even emotionally, it's the right thing to do, right? It could just be the build up to actually doing it that's difficult, and once you do, you feel that lightness instantly. I do have to say, I think your reading for last month was talking about letting the past crumble too. So for some of you, this could still be a situation that's ongoing. So maybe not all of you have actually taken the step to leave the past behind around that situation. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the 10 of Cups, Pisces energy, the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter energy, which is in your sign, even though it's retrograde right now, Queen of Cups, Cancer energy, and the Moon. So yeah, seeing this, it could just be saying that this is what's at play here, right? Your actual happiness, given that we did see the sun in the near future position too. Could just be saying that it's time for you to just actually make the reach for that as well, right? And maybe the Jupiter retrograde energy in your sign is having you look back at something that you're getting a second chance around the situation. With the Queen of Cups, could just be saying that you're still feeling a little bit guarded, right? Still holding on to whatever this thing is. And with the Moon, not necessarily seeing the situation fully clearly. Now, if that's the case, to me, seeing the Moon come up here could be another indicator that, especially because that full moon will be in your 12th house, that full moon could actually help you gain the clarity. So that's going to be around the 10th of September. So be on the lookout for some signs to come through for you around that time. Now, I do have to say, another way this could be coming across for some of you as well could just be saying, as far as the happiness that might have eluded you, right, with the Wheel of Fortune energy there, could just be saying that for some of you, maybe it's partially because you've been a bit closed off, right? Because if we look at that cup there, it doesn't want to focus, but yeah, if that cup is pretty much pretty closed off, so it could just be one of those things where you might have felt like emotionally you were open, right? Like she's right on the edge of the water, but she's not quite in it. So it could just be saying that for some of you, maybe you come to that realization as well, right? That maybe you haven't been as open as you might have thought you were, and coming to that realization can help bring the happiness your way too. All right. In the environment position, we have the Knight of Wands. So yeah, I feel like while this is Sagittarius energy for one, but I feel like this is saying that you might just feel nudged into action this month, right? So like I said, whatever this is that you've been going back and forth about, I feel like this month you just feel that little bit of a push, a little bit of a nudge to actually finally come through and do something about it. Now, to be fair, this could actually be due to the fact that your ruler, which is Mars, will be in Gemini all of September, which relates to communication, right? So if it's been a matter of emotionally, you might have made the step to say, I need to leave this behind. Maybe having that energy moving through your third house of communication is finally going to be what gives you that boost to actually communicate that you do want to leave the situation behind. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Wands. So yeah, seeing this makes me think of what I was saying with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands with the Nine of Swords, I should say. Which is to say, for some of you might feel like when you do leave the situation behind, that there will be a lot of resistance to that decision, right? So you might feel like you have to defend your decision, defend your reasoning for doing so, so on and so forth. So that could have been part of what held you back from doing so for a while. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Star. So this is actually the major arcana card for Aquarius energy. And of course, we've had Saturn there for quite some time, so maybe that's part of what it is. But yeah, could just be saying that, for example, I was talking about for some of you, maybe this is a friendship that you've needed to leave behind, or possibly a group that you've been dealing with. And having Saturn in that house, your 11th house of groups, friendships, could just be saying that maybe it's been putting a strain on the situation to where you are kind of forced to make a decision, But yeah, either way, seeing this come up in the outcome here, I feel like this is saying that you will feel like you finally got that course correction and you're going to be on the right path, right? So it might not be the easiest at the very start of it, but I feel like whatever it is, you will have the confidence that, okay, maybe this wasn't the easiest decision to make, but right after making it, you're going to feel like, yeah, this was the right thing to do, though. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Swords. So yeah, more Aquarius energy there, which could just be saying, like I said, that maybe there was just some kind of deception at play where maybe people weren't given their fair share around the situation, and now this month you're finally seeing that and finally moving forward from it. All right, so moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have Be Impeccable with Your Word. And it says, Replace fear with love. Okay, let's see what it says. It says, the human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. When you are impeccable with your word, your mind is no longer fertile ground for the words that come from fear. Your mind is only fertile for the words that come from love. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. Especially something to keep in mind, of course, like we said, there will be that Mercury retrograde that's going to start in your opposite sign of Libra and actually move into Virgo as well. Alright, so moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Why. There's the artwork, and the number is 31. So we'll see what that has to say. Okay, essential meaning says motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. The Oracle's message: there is great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for this answer, behaving in this way, and most important, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it, your intention will then be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it. This invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. For some of you, as far as the why, right, it could be one of those things where you're asking yourself, why do you still remain in this situation, right, where deep down you kind of know that it is time to move on from it. So hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says we don't always know why we engage in our relationships in the way we do, mostly because our feelings aren't always logical. Now is the time to recognize whether you're being triggered by someone else or if your behavior is motivated by unresolved issues in the past. When you ask yourself, why am I feeling like this, and why did I say that, and spend some time in introspection, the answers may be surprising. Listen to the messages from your intuition, from the knowing deep within you. What does it tell you about yourself and others? In the end, life is all about being loved. Miracles and a deep understanding of your needs and how to get them met are the very treasure of the why. Uncover them by posing the most powerful question you can ask yourself and your partner today. Why? So yeah, I will say for the most part, this didn't seem like a one-to-one romantic connection, but if that's what you guys were seeking guidance on, I hope that resonated. And lastly, the prosperity message says knowing the motives behind your career and creative ventures is the ticket to your greatest success. It's time to ask yourself some probing questions. Are you driven by a desire to serve? Does your prosperity impact the greater good? When you envision your most prosperous life, are you guided by a sense of purpose or by a need to make money, acquire things, save for the future, or all of these? No motive is bad or good, but having agendas hidden from yourself will lead to disappointment and possibly failure. Be clear about why you want the things you do. If the motives are true, accept them. If they are not, change them so you can step into your extraordinary life. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully that resonated. And lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Dharmachakra Mudra, and the keyword for it is auspiciousness. Alright, and there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says, under benefits, opens the chest, facilitates facilitates deep breathing, benefits the heart and lungs, balances inner and outer aspects of life, spiritual and worldly, serves as a window through which we can directly touch the inherent unity behind the veil of duality. Alright, so if that sounds like a Mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description below as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.